I'm on my way to Luckenwalde, about 50 kilometers south of Berlin. It's in the middle of the Brandenburg countryside. It's here that one of the 17 refugee centers in the state of Brandenburg is located. I'm keen to find out what's become of the asylum seekers who've made it this far. I'm meeting Rainer Höhn, the center director. 165 people live here, but Höhn believes the number of refugees admitted to Germany is too low. He says that because of Germany's aging population and low birth rate, more refugees should be given a chance to start a new life in this country. And that is something the Osso family dreams of. Eva and her parents Marwan and Hadila have been here for 2 months. Their departure from Syria was fraught with danger and very expensive. It cost them 15,000 euros. That's the price they paid for their escape. As Yazidis, a Kurdish minority, they were persecuted in Syria.
Eva.
Marwan is content that his daughter is able to learn German. Marwan says that as Yazidis, the Osso family had no rights in Syria and that they fled for their lives. He says that his children had no access to school and that even though he's 33, he can't write his name in any foreign language. He says he came to Germany so his children wouldn't have to grow up the way he did. The prospect of a brighter future makes living 4 to a room bearable. Back in Syria, they had a big house, but now they're just happy to be safe. At the same time, the Ossos sense that not everyone around here welcomes their presence. The barbed wire around the refugee center is hard to miss. Of course, it's not there to pen the refugees in. Rainer tells me it's not actually located on his grounds. He says it was put up by one of the previous owners of the neighboring property. It was they who wanted to keep the refugees at arm's length. The wariness of some locals towards the asylum seekers seems extreme. Marwan, Hadila, and Eva take a walk into town. Going by bus is too expensive for them. They want to visit their son Avak's school. And then they'd like to go shopping. The streets are all they know of Luckenwalde so far. They don't know any of the people who actually live here. The Ossos have just 6 euros a day to live on, so they have to resort to the local soup kitchens in Luckenwalde. Here, the needy can get a meal for a small donation. After shopping, they go straight back to the refugee home for Children's Hour. They meet with Ines Munch in the kids' room. She's a local who volunteers to visit the children nearly every day. Ines says she works in the center as a so-called integration angel. Rainer Höhn created the position to help the children learn German. Ines helps prepare the children for kindergarten and for school. She says the angels spend their time with the kids and have fun. In just 2 months, Eva has learned how to count quite well. Her father is very proud of her progress. Rainer Höhn has been fighting for refugees' rights for years. He poses the question whether Germany is a typical immigration country or whether it's a country with restrictive laws where people are categorized. Rainer says, in his opinion, Germany should be a typical immigration country with precise objectives, like helping people learn the language. The authorities don't actually provide German classes for refugees without a residence permit, but Rainer has made them possible. He asks the boys whether school is out for the day. They say they're just on a break. Rainer has organized free German classes for the asylum seekers at the local community college. It's here that the Ossos learn their first words of German. Rainer shows me the first home for refugees in Luckenwalde. It unfortunately gained notoriety 21 years ago. Rainer explained that on the day of German reunification, this building was attacked and destroyed by neo-Nazis. He says it was fortunate that the police had warned him of the threat, and so he was able to hide the refugees in churches or send them to Berlin. At the time, they only had 25 refugees who had arrived via the Canary Islands. Nowadays, though, such an evacuation would not be possible, since there are many more asylum seekers here. This girl has found some snails. Luckily, the mood around town is not as hostile as it once was, and many children now live at the center. Some were even born here. I hope they get a chance of a better future. The isolation and constant waiting makes life tough for families here. Eva heads to check out the internet cafe in the refugee center. It was set up by Chu Eben and his Refugees Emancipation outfit. They have set up 6 cafes like this in Brandenburg refugee centers, financed through donations. The internet access is designed to diminish some of the isolation and loneliness the refugees experience.
We want to just allow the people to have communication access, get information about their country, can know what is the situation so that they can also use it for their asylum process.
Marwan is keen to find out more about the situation back in Syria. His father is still there. So for him and the other refugees, the internet is vital, sometimes the only link to their homeland. I set off back to Berlin. The Osso family's application for a residence permit has still not been processed. The chances that they'll actually get one are slim. I can only hope that, given the unstable situation in Syria, they don't get sent back.